Hi there, and welcome to Live with Sujay. And we're all the way live and in living color, and it's my delight to be with you. Thank you for sharing this time with us. So, this is a series on Black women leaders, and I am so ecstatic to have with us a woman leader in the food industry who's changing lives and who's transforming the world. Welcome, Paula Taylor, the owner of Arlie's Raw Blends. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, what is Arlie's Raw Blends, and where are your sites? Where are you located?
Okay. So, Arlie's Raw Blends is a cold press, 100% organic juice cafes in Princeton, New Jersey, and Trenton. I have three locations.
Trenton, New Jersey was your latest opening recently, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I have two in Princeton. And I have one in Trenton. So my second location in Princeton is the
So,
third store.
so
Yeah.
excited for you. We had some pictures of you actually at the ribbon cutting and the opening in Trenton. So, why is it so important to be in the capital city of New Jersey?
Right. Well, believe it or not, I started um, in the capital. I did marketing there to see if there was a market for the juices that we were serving. So
Okay.
they were my test market. I would go to the farmer's market. We would sell out every week. And then my customers started encouraging me they wanted me to open a storefront. At the time, I was living in Princeton, and it was just easier for me. I found a storefront, but it happened to be in Princeton, New Jersey, and I opened the storefront there. But I vowed that I would always open a store in Trenton, New Jersey, because it's important to me to bring healthy food options not only to affluent communities
Yes.
but also to urban areas as well. So Trenton is very dear to my heart. They got me started,
Yes.
and I do everything I can to educate the people in Trenton.
So you're a member of Global Black Women's Chamber of Commerce, which is also a sponsor for the show. But you mentioned an important word, and that's market research. So why is it so important to, before you open your business anywhere, to do that market research? And what specifically did you do?
Yeah. Well, everyone has an idea.
Yes.
So you have to determine if that idea is sought after by others. Do you really have a market for your product? So it was important to me. It was something that I love doing. I'm in business with my brother. It was important to us to, we wanted to share it, but we had to determine really was there a market for it. And so we decided that if anybody knows anything about New Jersey, there are lots of farmers market,
Yes.
and there's opportunity for vendors to come out and promote their products.
Nice.
And so Trenton was having a farmers market. They allowed us to sign up, and we came out every Wednesday. It was farmers market day at Capital City on Warren Street.
I love it.
And at the time, it was a passion that I loved, drinking cold pressed juices,
Right.
smoothies, healthy smoothies.
Yes.
And so it was, and I said, okay, my kids are older. Let me go see if
Right.
there's a market. And every week we would sell out.
Yeah.
And
So did you give little samples so people
we
could
gave
sample?
samples. We gave samples. We took product to sell, and we gave samples out, and we talked about the products. I still give samples out today in my stores because it's very important. People think, oh, this is healthy food, that it's not going to taste good. But believe me, it definitely tastes good. I do.
I'm a believer, I must say, because I wasn't big on veggies as a kid growing up, and so as an adult, same thing. I mean, I would eat my chicken, I would eat the potatoes, but vegetables. But I am sold. There's one, is it TK?
You like the kale,
Oh,
turmeric,
Kid,
KT.
oh my gosh, KT. And tell us what the ingredients are in that, just so people can get an idea. It
So
tastes good
that's
and it is good.
It tastes good and it's healthy for you, and it's one of our number one sellers. So it is kale, a little broccoli. We sweeten with Granny Smith apple, pineapple juice, or we squeeze everything. We squeeze fresh, ginger, turmeric, and lemon.
I must tell you, it is so good. Not to die for, but to live for. And I know that I get my vegetables in. I usually drink them by the bottle, but I know it's 5 servings in there. But we go back. You talked about your kids were older, so timing is important in starting businesses. But I want to just say this to the public: our children were in high school together, and they looked forward to your bringing food over to the campus. They were in boarding school, and she would bring food over to the campus. And then in the summer, our kids also shared. So I want to thank you for your food. But what made you change to, from the traditional, because we're both from Southern backgrounds, to healthy food that also tastes good?
Right. So, what first started me on this road to healthy eating? Both my parents died early on from, major diseases. My mother passed away from breast cancer. My father from heart attack within, years of each other. So, then I became, obsessed. So got on this mission to say, I really need to make sure I'm cleaning up my diet, following the new trends, looking at the new trends, and just really wanted to improve my nutritional health.
Yeah.
So I just started doing a lot of research. I've always loved to cook because I do come from a Southern background.
Yes.
So I love soul food.
And you cook well.
I cook well.
Yes.
And I love, collard greens, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, cornbread.
Yes.
But I realized the way that we were preparing them was not always the healthiest way to cook. But I still wanted those traditional dishes. So I started experimenting with, based on all my research and what was healthy for you, like what oils you should use, what flours you should use. And I just started looking at my recipes and just swapping out, using the same thing. So instead of me using, canola oil, I switched to, olive oil, 100% cold pressed olive oil, which is better for you, which processes through your body better.
Yes.
So I just started taking recipes
Yes.
and said I can convert any recipe and make it healthy and also make it taste good.
Yeah. So we've seen pictures of your cakes, and we have your juices. But what other things do you sell in your stores? You have one at Princeton location and a Trenton location. What other products do you sell?
Yeah. So you would consider a no waste. I use everything. So everything that we use in our store, they're very simple ingredients. They're really what Mother Nature has given us. It's all really about going back to your roots and eating healthy. Eating kale that's from the garden, mixed greens, from the garden, nothing canned, nothing, processed.
So they say from the farm to the table.
From the farm to the table. Wow. That's what you want to do.
Wow.
So what after we cold pressed our juices, I noticed that we had a lot of pulp. So I said, what are we going to do with this pulp?
Yes.
We have to figure out something to do with this. It's still the kale. It's still, the pineapple. It's still the apples. So we decided to make a cracker. So we added a few more ingredients.
I love it.
To that kale. So we have kale crackers. We also do the same. I make my own fresh almond milk.
Yes.
So we grind up almonds and we end up having almond flour. So we turn the almond flour into almond crackers, almond cookies.
Wow.
So you can use the flours. And the same thing with our ginger and turmeric. Even though in our juices we use fresh squeezed ginger and turmeric juice from the root.
Yes.
I can take, once it's processed and it's what's left over, we dehydrate it, which continues to keep the nutrients 100% intact.
Yes.
But you can still use them in your cooking, in your meals.
So we have to have you back for a cooking show because we have a full kitchen. I want to see the different ingredients. But if there's there are a lot of people now who are lactose intolerant and also gluten free. So what do you do? Do any of your products address that?
Yeah. So everything that we sell in the store is 100% organic.
Yes.
100% gluten and GMO free.
Okay.
GMO GMO is wheat, corn, and soy.
Okay.
And
okay.
that's what you say when you hear GMO free.
I'm glad you explained it because we see it all the time. Many of us don't know.
Well, those are genetically modified seeds and products that are
Okay.
used as fillers in our food, and they're really not very good for you.
Okay.
Okay, and then I don't use any refined sugar, so I sweeten with things that Mother Nature gave us. I mentioned the apple,
Right.
the pineapple,
Yes.
dates,
Oh.
maple syrup.
Yes.
So you want anything that's plant-based.
Yes. Yes.
You know, now some people will use honey. I don't use honey in my store because I also appeal to the vegans
Yeah, okay.
of the world, and the
Okay.
vegans in the world, they do not eat honey. But it's up to the individual, your preference. But I just try to promote 100% plant-based eating
Yes.
and eating healthy.
I love it. My son, who's been in school with your sons, totally loves what you do. You know, so if there are sodas or things around that aren't plant based, he's like, "We're pouring this out. Why are we even doing this to
Right.
our body?" Because our sons were athletes, which was really important. Your son was on the crew
Right, and track.
and track, and Chris was a shot putter, so they are very conscious about what goes into their bodies.
Yeah, the younger generation is very educated and very well aware
Yes.
of healthy eating. They usually learn in school, so they're getting a really good head start on how they should be, what they should be eating and how they should be treating their bodies, and especially the athletes, because they
Yes.
do notice the difference. I even use my kids as a test market when
Right.
I was creating the juices. We all did the smoothies at home, which they loved, but when I did my cold pressed juices, they were still in high school and they were athletes. And I remember making the juice, and I said, I want you to try this. And they tried it. They didn't frown. They did not say that they were not going to drink it. But the funny thing is, my son looked at me and said, "Well, Mom, it's good, but I probably won't drink it."
Okay.
But I didn't see any frowns. I didn't see anything that said, "Oh my goodness, this is disgusting."
Right, right.
But the next day, it was so funny. He comes in the next morning. He takes one out of the refrigerator and he says, "I'm going to take one for the road." And I thought, oh my
my
goodness,
goodness.
bingo.
Yeah.
He does like it, and he does feel the effects, and he felt the effects right away.
Overnight. So that's another test market. You try it out on people who are around you, and you can really get the
And you
honest
get
feedback,
their honest feedback.
which is another way of surveying. So let me ask you this. You talk about cold pressing. The process is, what do you do when you actually cold press?
Okay, so cold press means we use tons of pressure. I have a commercial machine that use tons of pressure to squeeze the juice out of the fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So it's not spinning. It's not your Vitamix.
Okay.
It's not incorporating oxygen into the process.
Okay.
So then, or your centrifugal, which is like grinding, which is some of the things I don't want to, say anything bad about if someone has a Breville and they're making juice, and even Vitamix, or if you're
Yes.
making smoothies at home. What that does do, however, is it incorporates oxygen into the process, and that's why it breaks down right away,
Yes.
and you have to drink it right away.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so you lose the nutrients. So I tell people that, if you're doing that at home, if that's what you have, if you broke down the nutrients and you're drinking it, if you get or 50% nutrients, it's better than getting no nutrients or
Exactly.
zero nutrients.
Exactly.
So my process is tons of pressure
Okay.
that squeezes the juice out of the fruits and vegetables. So then the enzymes and the nutrients stay 100% intact.
Got it.
And
Got
so
it.
no air is incorporated, because air is what breaks down. And we use lemon juice or lime juice as a natural preservative. We fill the bottles up to the very rim, so
Yes.
oxygen does not get in.
Right.
And really, the juices can sit in the refrigerator for 5 to 7 days, depending upon the blend. And even then, it's not a matter of spoiling, it's a matter of the nutrients breaking down. So instead of being 100% intact,
Right.
it goes, it breaks down to 90%, to
Okay.
85%, to 80%.
I'm appreciative of the explanation, but also that you fill your bottles to the top.
To the
'Cause people
very
are always
rim.
looking to make sure you get your money's worth, and you
Yeah.
really do.
And I say 16 ounces on the bottle,
Right.
but it's really 18 ounces because I definitely fill it to the top.
Well, thank you for knowing that, So you took your position, your first store is across the street from Princeton University.
Yes.
Even though they're doing construction right now, but positioning and timing, you talked about your business starting after your kids were grown. So talk to us about positioning and timing of your business.
Right.
What's important to a business owner?
Right. Well, timing is, when you open up in your own small business, you have to devote a tremendous amount of time to your project.
Yes.
Because it requires you in a small business, you're going to be the accountant, you're going to be HR,
That's right.
you're developing.
Exactly.
So you're a one woman, one man show. You're one person doing an entire team, and you're also promoting. So you really do need the time to promote to that business. So when people say you're working 24/7, it's really, not too much of an exaggeration.
Right, you really are.
And
You're close to that.
yeah, it's very close to it. And not only that, it's that you do have to look for location, depending upon what your product is. I needed to be visible. I needed people to see what I was selling. Not only do I need to promote it, I need to be able to explain, because people don't understand, like, what do you mean by healthy living? I've been on a lot of diets, but now you're, providing me, or you're sharing these foods. What do they taste like?
Yes.
So I really had to find something that was very visible, that was easy access to my customer. I serve my juices in glass bottles, so they're a little heavy to transport.
Yes.
So I wanted them to be able to pull up, to purchase their juices, and easily purchase and are able to carry them out of the store.
Do you ask for people to recycle the bottles?
I ask for people to recycle. So since I'm a plant-based store, I clean with plant-based, and we recycle everything. We recycle our bottles. It's very important to us
That's awesome.
that we use our bottles again. So I use a 3-tier process of re-cleaning my bottles. We actually soak them, hand wash them, and then put them through an ultimate cleaning commercial washing machine. So I'm all
they're
into
gonna be
squeaky
clean.
clean.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
going to
they'll
be
be
very,
squeaky
very
clean.
clean. So you definitely just have to make sure that you're visible.
Right.
That people have, it's one thing to be, sort of in an office.
Right.
And people don't necessarily have to see your product, but something like, clothing, retail, you need to be very visible for people to have
So
access.
there's visibility, there's viability of the position of your business, but then there's the vision. So where do you want to go? What do you see? You have Trenton, you have Princeton. What do you see for your business?
Right. So I always wanted to expand, or I always thought when I started this business, I wanted to brand. Hence, I didn't want juice in the name, because I didn't know where I was going to go with this. I actually started just making cold pressed juices. I didn't even have food in sight. Then I evolved into the food. Then I evolved into the desserts.
Yes.
That was based on what my customers needed. They started with the juices. They were doing cleanses. I specialize in juice cleanses.
Oh, wow.
And then they thought, okay, I did this juice cleanse. I'm feeling great. Now what do I want to do? I
Yes.
don't want to go back to eating.
Right.
Are you going to make food? And so that's what I did. I took my products and I decided to build upon that and offer, healthy foods and then healthy desserts.
Yes.
So
let's talk about the desserts. I've tried your avocado in terms of food and the crackers. So talk about what other desserts are healthy in terms of plant-based.
Okay, so I make a cashew cheesecake, and I make
Really?
different flavors, and the base is cashew cream, and we add just a little bit of coconut oil, Himalayan sea salt. We sweeten with dates.
Wow.
I do use agave, and my crust is just almonds and dates. So we grind that up. So that's the crust.
We
Very
definitely have
simple
to have you
ingredient.
on the show because I have to sample it like they do on Good Morning America. I'm
Yes.
going to take a taste of this.
And they're all fruit based. I mean, we
wow.
do strawberry, mango, we do blueberry, blackberry, and they're all absolutely delicious. And there's no dairy, absolutely no dairy.
dairy.
And you can eat. It's like eating a handful of nuts.
Yes.
So you're eating healthy. You can eat without guilt. So I also do a vanilla and chocolate mousse parfait. So my vanilla, it's like chocolate pudding,
Yes.
and my chocolate pudding is raw cacao which is very good for you.
It is.
It's and I blend that with avocados, and it's smooth and creamy, and
Okay.
that's the chocolate pudding. And then the vanilla pudding is I make a cashew cream where it's the cashews, and I blend that, and I turn that into a cashew vanilla cream
I'm
with
loving
vanilla
it.
beans and with vanilla, agave, and a little coconut oil.
See, I know where you live, so I'm going to come sample it, and then we have to have you on the show so the world can sample it. So we always have a formula. We say A plus B plus C equals a successful business. What's your A? What's your B? What's your C to make Arlie's Raw Blend successful?
So my A is that you have to have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that idea is something that you love, you believe in, you have a passion, and because it's very difficult to sell something to someone else that you do not enjoy and believe in yourself.
Okay, so
So you
it has to be your passion. It can't be someone
it
else's
has
dream.
it has to be your dream, your passion. The one thing that my customers always tell me is, "Wow, you deliver this with passion. You know, I can look in your eyes and I can see you believe in it."
Because
Um,
you're really eating, sleeping, and living it.
I do that. I
Yeah.
believe in this. I
Mm-hmm.
feel so good. I mean, I started this business maybe 9 years ago. My transition, to eating healthy was much longer than that. But I have to say, when I wake up in the morning, I feel 20 years younger. I feel 30 years younger. And people
Wow.
tell me I even look 10,
Well,
20 years younger than I
yes,
did.
yes, yes. Do you miss the other way, or you now this is your way of life?
No, this is my way of life. I do
Okay.
not miss it. My body does not miss it. But
Mm-hmm.
like everything, you're gonna fall off. You
Mm-hmm.
may indulge in something. This is all about eating. You may eat something that you know is not good for you, but believe me, the next day your
You're
body
gonna
will
feel
let
it,
you. You
really.
will feel it, and your body will let you know, and you get right back on track.
Yeah, you have to. So your A is passion.
A is
What's your
passion.
B?
So my B is if determine if this is really something you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look for a location,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and location is very key.
It's key. Location, location,
Location
location.
is very key, and people do not put enough time and energy into looking for location. And just because something is available, if it's not good for you, don't take the plunge. I
So do
mean,
you go like by day and by night, just kind of hang out around there before you purchase it or before you rent the location, so you can kind of see what the flow is in the daytime, what the flow is at night? Would you do all of that?
yeah, you just, depending upon your product,
Mm-hmm.
you can do a lot of research
Yes.
on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I started in Princeton because Princeton, of course, is an affluent neighborhood.
Yes.
They care about healthy eating.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most traveled. I opened a second store on Witherspoon Street, and it's the most traveled store in all of New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of foot traffic. Believe it or not, I have two stores in Princeton, but they cater to two different clienteles.
So one is the university.
One is the university, it's foot traffic. I get a lot more students, and I get a lot more people coming in, and they're purchasing more my healthy smoothies with
Mm-hmm.
ginger and
Mm-hmm.
turmeric and
Okay.
soursop. But then my other store is on the outskirts, and it's for people who really come from other surrounding towns, and
Interesting.
they come to purchase juice in bulk. So they pull up, and they will buy anywhere from 5 to 10 juices at a time. They're doing cleanses, but they come from the surrounding um, towns.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily want to go into downtown Princeton,
Yes.
and that works well for them. So that's
So you
what
have a lot of the corporations still out there, like the Johnson and Johnsons, or are these neighbors who live in the suburbs out there?
these are neighbors who live in the suburbs.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
Wow.
my other market, which I really have to tap into, and I have gone into some of the businesses in Trenton,
Mm-hmm.
in Princeton,
Yes.
and I've done, programs at these particular locations, and
Yes.
talked about healthy eating to their employees.
And they have retreats too, which would be
They
a great
have
opportunity for
Yes,
you.
yes.
So let
And
me
I was on that path
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
COVID hit.
Sure.
And now we can really get back into that because now, companies are opening back up and some of their employees are coming, back to work. And that's one of the reasons why I opened in Trenton.
Yes.
I not only opened in Trenton because it had it was an urban community, but it's also 50,000 state workers
Okay.
are downtown.
Yes, yes.
So I could rely on them.
Are people starting slowly to return to work, or they have to if they're for
Yeah,
the
but
state, right?
the state is still allowing them to be, hybrid.
Okay.
So I have to admit, during COVID, really the community supported that store and kept it afloat.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
they are happy that we are there. They are big supporters. I get in the local police. I get the firemen coming in every
I love
day.
it. I love
So,
Well, you know what? This series is Black Women Leaders, and I am delighted that you are one and that you're a friend, but that you're a successful businesswoman. And we thank you for coming to Live with Sujay. And we thank you for staying with us on Live with Sujay. Watch us on LTV. Want to give a shout out to the crew, but I want to give a shout out to you. This has been Live with Sujay, series Black Women Leaders. Thank you so much.